Now, while the world has been busy dealing with the pandemic, the illegal drug trade in Southeast Asia has been doing roaring business. A new UN report says the volume and variety of opioids has continued to expand to record levels in the past year. 63 tons of methamphetamine were seized in this region, an increase of more than 50% compared to 2018. The price has dropped significantly because supply has surged. Synthetic opioids like fentanyl are also becoming more popular. 28 different types were traded in 2019 compared to just 5 years ago. Major trafficking gateways continue to be in the so-called Golden Triangle, which straddles the western border of Thailand, Laos and Vietnam. The Andaman Sea and Malacca Strait are also key locations. Movement restrictions implemented during the pandemic don't appear to have disrupted supply chains. And like the rest of the economy, drug rings have shifted their trade online. Authorities have reported an increase in drug trade on social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter, as well as more drugs being smuggled through the post. Now, for a closer look, we're joined by Inshik Sim from the UN Office on Drugs and Crime. Inshik, thanks for joining us. Help us understand, why do you think this drug trade, particularly in this region, has continued to flourish, especially in this current climate, this COVID pandemic that we're seeing?
Thank you for having me here today. Yes, that's actually a very good question, because this region has a comparative advantage compared to other regions in order to produce illicit drugs, you need precursor chemicals. In this region, precursor chemicals are traded through illegal border crossings. It does not require normal trade channels. So because of that, we continuously see the flows of precursor chemical traffic from neighboring countries to the Golden Triangle area. On the other hand, organized crime groups in other regions, such as North America, Mexican drug cartels, there have been reports that they are in difficulties in sourcing precursor chemicals. I think that's the main reason why we are still witnessing the supply of illicit drugs in this region.
And why haven't increased border checks and restrictions, and even restrictions on movement, managed to disrupt supply chains in the region?
I think there has been some changes in the way of drug trade has been made in this region. But first of all, because of the restrictions on mobility of people and air passengers movement is completely stopped. Because of that, we are witnessing the increased use of parcel post that leaves from Southeast Asia goes to countries like Australia, Japan, and Korea and New Zealand. And we are also witnessing the more increased use of maritime drug trafficking, because it does not involve the legal trade channels. So all in all, there has been some change in how the drugs being trafficked, the way of trafficking. But in terms of overall supply, I don't think that it has been impacted much.
Well, there also seems to be a change in the types of drugs as well. So how concerned should authorities be about this growing use of synthetic opioids compared to, other traditional drugs like meth?
Yes, that is this add much more complexity to already dangerous illicit drug market in Southeast Asia. Synthetic opioid is very, very extremely dangerous and potent types of drugs. Fentanyl and its analogs, when it's mixed with traditional drugs like heroin, when people don't know what they are buying, whether it's truly heroin or mixed with a synthetic opioid, it poses a significant public health challenge. That is why national authorities need to detect the availability of the synthetic opioid in the illicit drug market. Otherwise, we will see the increased number of overdose deaths associated with the non-medical use of this synthetic opioid.
Inshik Sim, thank you very much for speaking with us today. Inshik Sim from the UN Office on Drugs and Crime.